back. I'm Harry Boomer. Now it's time to learn a lot more about Dress for Success Cleveland. They've been changing lives for years, giving women looking into becoming self-sufficient a way to get a job and keep that job once they get it. Melanie, start from step one of what happens when a woman contacts you, Dress for Success. What, when somebody walks into there as you did 11 or so years ago, what does one do?
Well, there's a few ways women can get connected to Dress for Success. The first and foremost way is by referral. We are a partner agency to most of the job training, job readiness programs in the community, or programs such as schools or organizations that are doing some other supportive service. And when they are working with the woman and they know she's ready to start her job search, they will refer her to Dress for Success. But then we have women that are just looking us up on the internet, finding out supportive service and calling us directly. So we have a career center that we will refer them to, because before they get suited, we want to make sure a woman is job ready. And what that means is that you have interview skills, that you've gone through a mock interview, that you have an effective resume. So we have HR professionals that work with women to bring them into the job readiness level, and then we refer them internally into our dressing program to get that suit.
So this is not somebody who just wants to change her wardrobe coming down to Dress for Success, saying, hey girl, I need some new stuff. And they've got to go through a program to make sure they're ready to receive that new stuff to take them to the next level.
Exactly. This is exactly pointed to women that are looking for employment, that are in need of some self-encouragement and some self-esteem building, and they want to perfect their interviewing skills.
Megan, talk to me about that whole thing about self-encouragement and self-esteem building. And, you know, today it's hard to get a job. We have people who've been out of work, some for 99 weeks or longer, 99 months or longer. Well, I guess it's weeks. But the thing is, it's hard to get a job these days. You're competing and you get turned down time after time after time because there's so many folks looking, and you get discouraged. And you say, well, can I do this? What is there at Dress for Success that says, yes, you can?
The HR counseling and career counseling that Melanie mentioned, also when the woman, if we kind of take the next step, the woman has now been been referred to the organization, and then she has the ability to receive a suit. She gets the job. She is then a part of the professional women's group. That is also, it's literally a group of professional women that are offered programming every month, several times a month, and that in and of itself also establishes a great network for the women, as well as the programs that are offered during that. So in terms of keeping their enhancement and enhancing their experience, giving them some positive influences and support, that provides that as well.
In a sense, it says that I know where you are, because in your case, Melanie, you were there.
Exactly.
And I know what you need, and if you're willing to do what is required, you too can move beyond unemployment to full employment to retaining that job. Talk to me about, first, the attitudes you see from people who haven't been employed at all or for a very long time, the attitudes they have about work, because the workplace has changed dramatically over the years.
Absolutely. The workplace has changed, and your attitude has to change with it, and your approach to interviewing has to change. If you haven't interviewed in the last 5, even in the last 2 years, you need some practice about how to, like the types of interviews that are being done, telephone etiquette. A lot of interviews are being done over the telephone. A lot of interviews are behavioral style interviews. So you need some practice on how to sell yourself to an employer. And so that's what we help women with. We have a new program called Going Places Network, supported by Walmart. And it's taking that woman who's, like you said, that 99 weeks, it's taking a little bit longer for her to find that perfect placement. And we're working, it's a 12-week program where we're working more intensely with what are her barriers, just what isn't going right for you. It could be that, it could be the presentation of your resume. It could be your attitude, because you get defeated, you get your motivation runs dry, and so you might need to be pumped up again and have that fierce attitude, like, I'm going to do this, I can do this. And so that's what this program does. It takes you and it makes you job ready all over again for the next 12 weeks and looks at some of the things. And some of it may be that you need more training, and we have some online components that will help you increase your skill level while you're going through this 12 weeks. It could be that you just need to brush up on your interviewing skills, or maybe you're not even focusing on the right industry for your skill level. So that's what we kind of look at.
When we look at the fact that the national unemployment rate is 9.1%, that does not effectively reflect the fact that there are tens of thousands, if not millions of people who've given up looking for work. And when you've been sitting on the sidelines wanting to work, not working, getting turned down, resume after resume being sent out, no callbacks, you get defeated. There is worth in work. And when you think about, and nobody wants me, I've been calling, I've been writing, I've been knocking on doors, you sort of get down. And what you're saying here is Dress for Success says, you don't have to stay down because we can help you get up.
You don't have to stay down. Your attitude can be lifted, and that we're here to support you, and that there is someone who cares about the fact that you're out here kind of lingering in the wind and you're without a support system. Everybody needs a foundation. So we bring you back into our doors and welcome you in and give you a safe haven to come to.
We talked some about that. There's also this other part about the interview technique. When you're sitting down across a desk from an employer, potential employer, there are things you should be able to do and say effectively, because if you don't, you're not going to get that job. Megan, talk to us about just in your own experience, what it's like sitting across the desk saying, I want this job, what should I do, knowing what Dress for Success has on the table for one.
In terms of, it's just important that the women understand that there is a certain way to communicate that. And if they're, as Melanie said, to sell themselves, and you might be very eager for this position, but just to understand, obviously, know the questions to ask about the position so that you can continue to judge for yourself.
And it is good to ask questions.
When
they say, do you have any questions?
Right.
No.
Right. And we always, we let them know that it is a two-way conversation. Yes, it's just as much as, as I'm sure you've heard before, they're interviewing you, but you are interviewing them as well. Yeah,
because you play at least a 50% part in the process.
Right.
You are putting yourself out there to be hired. They're putting the company out there to hire. You have a yes or no like they have a yes or no. You're not coming begging. You're bringing skills to the table. And that's another important aspect. People need to understand, I'm bringing skills, rusty as they may be, but I can still do this. I have done this. My experience says I can do this. So you don't come with hat in hand. You come humble, but not hat in hand.
Exactly. You have to know your value. You have to know your worth. You have to know what your skill levels are. And a lot of times, women think, especially if you haven't been in the workforce for a while, I don't have anything to offer. But that's totally not true. And so we have some assessments that go through and showcase to her what her skills and what she's bringing to the table. Some non-traditional skill levels are surfaced, and so that she can be more confident that she has something to offer, because like Megan said, it's a two-way street. Maybe every job you go on or every interview may not be a good fit for you. That's what you're there to see as well, so that when you do get a job, it's not just temporary. Because what we promote is getting a job, because we all need to pay the bills, but focusing on getting a career as well.
All right. Thank you, ladies. We've got to take another break, and when we come back, more about Dressing for Success. The Cleveland chapter has a couple of events coming up. You should know about them. My guests, Melanie Butler and Megan Wilson, will fill us in on when and what and where when we come back. By the way, catch my report weekdays at 4, 5, and 6 on 19 Action News. And please friend me on Facebook and follow me as well on Twitter. Thanks. Don't go away. We'll be right back.